Have you ever found yourself sitting by the window, watching the world go by and thinking, well, what now? It happens to the best of us. Maybe you've already tried gardening, played your fair share of card games, and crocheted enough scarves to wrap around the planet twice. And yet, there's this tiny itch, a little spark inside you whispering, there's more out there, something different. You know what? There absolutely is. See, life after 60 isn't about slowing down, it's about shaking things up. This is your chance to explore, laugh at yourself, and say, why the heck not? Because the truth is, some of the most bizarre, unexpected hobbies out there can actually bring you joy, sharpen your mind, and make you feel more alive than you have in years. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're talking about those weird but wonderful hobbies you probably haven't tried yet. Hobbies that sound a little odd at first, but might just become your new favorite thing. So, if you're ready to step off the usual path and dip your toes into something unexpected, let's get started. Now, have you ever heard of cloud spotting? Not cloud watching. No, this is a whole different animal. Cloud spotting is an actual hobby where people spend time identifying different types of clouds, giving them names, and even photographing them like they're celebrities in the sky. There's even a cloud appreciation society. I kid you not, people send in pictures of clouds shaped like dolphins, dragons, and old men with giant noses. You don't need fancy equipment or even leave your backyard for this one. All it takes is a comfy chair, a good cup of tea, and a sky full of possibilities. It might sound silly, but it's surprisingly calming, and you'll start noticing details you never paid attention to before. That cloud up there looks like a giant marshmallow chasing a cat, and you'll find yourself smiling at the little things again. It's a hobby that doesn't cost a dime, but rewards you with something priceless, a sense of childlike wonder. And while we're on the subject of looking up, have you ever tried stargazing with a twist? I'm not talking about identifying constellations from a chart in some dusty book. No, I mean making up your own stories about the stars. Lay back under the night sky and let your imagination run wild. That cluster of stars over there, that's Old Man Jenkins chasing his runaway chicken. Those 3 in a row? Obviously a celestial traffic jam. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the point. It reconnects you to your imagination, the one that got buried under decades of bills, responsibilities, and weather reports. Here's the best part. You don't need to be good at it. No one's grading you. You're doing this for yourself. And if you happen to rope in your grandkids or your spouse for a night of cosmic storytelling, even better. They might just realize grandma or grandpa's got a wild streak after all. Another wonderfully weird pastime that's been making waves lately is rock balancing. It's exactly what it sounds like. Stacking rocks on top of each other in strange, gravity-defying formations. People do this in their gardens, by rivers, or even on their kitchen counters if they're feeling rebellious. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. There's something meditative about it. It forces you to focus, breathe, and get those hands working in ways they haven't since you last tried to assemble flat-pack furniture without the instructions. It teaches patience and balance, both literal and mental. And when you finally get that last pebble to stay put, you feel like you just conquered Everest. The beauty is in its simplicity. No expensive materials, no classes to attend. Just you, a few rocks, and a little persistence. And trust me, it's strangely addictive. Before you know it, you'll be hunting for the perfect flat stone on your morning walks. And speaking of walks, let me tell you about urban treasure hunting. You've probably heard of metal detecting, but this one's even quirkier. It's called geocaching. Think of it as a modern-day treasure hunt, where people hide small containers, called caches, in public places, and you use GPS coordinates to find them. Inside, there might be a tiny toy, a coin, or just a logbook you sign with a nickname like Silver Fox 62 or the Midnight Wanderer. It's adventurous, it gets you moving, and it makes you see your local park or city block in a whole new way. That bench you've passed 100 times might have a secret cache under it. That hollow tree could be hiding a little message from someone who was there before you. It turns an ordinary stroll into an adventure, and who doesn't need a little more adventure after 60? See, the world's full of these wonderfully odd hobbies that most people never even think to try. But you can. And you should. Because why settle for the usual when you've got the freedom and wisdom to dive into the unusual? Now, I've got a few more up my sleeve that are just as unexpected and maybe even a little wilder. Now, if you're thinking, all right, cloud spotting and rock stacking are charming, but what else you got? Oh, you're in for a treat. Let's wander into the world of sound baths. No, you don't need to strip down or climb into an actual tub. A sound bath is an experience where soothing sounds from gongs, crystal bowls, and chimes wash over you while you sit or lie down. Think of it as a gentle massage for your brain without anyone poking at your back. People swear by it for easing anxiety, lifting moods, and even improving sleep, which, let's be honest, gets a little temperamental after 60. And here's the best part. You can find local sessions or just pop on some sound bath playlists on YouTube, lie back on your couch, and let those cosmic hums mellow you right out. Who knew a few vibrating bowls could make you feel like you've been floating through outer space for an hour? And while we're exploring the unusual, have you ever tried guerrilla gardening? It's exactly what it sounds like. Secret, stealthy gardening. People plant flowers, herbs, and little patches of green in neglected corners of their cities. Empty lots, cracked sidewalks, that patch of dirt outside the post office. It's legal in most places, and in others, well, let's just say it's a harmless rebellion. Imagine being the mystery green thumb who turns a sad, dusty patch of earth into a burst of color overnight. It's joyful mischief. Grab a few seed balls or flower seeds, carry them in your pocket, and when you spot a forgotten corner, give it a little love. The next time you pass by, you'll spot that bright orange marigold or tiny sprig of lavender and think, yep, that was me. Instant mood boost. Now, for those of you who love a little mystery, have you heard of mystery mail swaps? It's a hobby where you send and receive surprise packages or letters from strangers around the world. There are online communities for it, but you can also start small within your own town or social group. The beauty of it is in the unknown. You might get a postcard from Finland, a handmade bracelet from someone in Nebraska, or a poem from a person who signs off as Moonlight Dancer. It's proof that magic can still arrive in your mailbox, and you don't have to be a tech wizard to do it. A handwritten letter, a quirky trinket, maybe a packet of your favorite tea. Small, simple joys shared with people you'll probably never meet. And speaking of never meeting people, but still having fun with them, let's talk about escape room games you can play at home. Remember those murder mystery dinner parties back in the day? Same spirit, but with puzzles and clues you solve with family or friends over a cup of coffee. You can buy kits or download printable versions online. It's a great way to keep your brain sharp, share a few laughs, and maybe accuse your neighbor of stealing the ruby necklace, all in good fun. Mental workouts don't have to be dry Sudoku puzzles. They can involve fake haunted mansions, locked treasure chests, and dramatic gasps when someone cracks the final clue. You see, trying out quirky hobbies like these isn't about being the best at them. It's about the sheer joy of doing something new, something slightly ridiculous, and something that reminds you you're still very much alive and kicking. Who says your 60s, 70s, or 80s have to be spent just knitting and watching old reruns? There's a whole world of odd little adventures waiting for you to say yes. And trust me, the more you lean into these wonderfully weird hobbies, the more you realize how much you were missing by sticking to the usual. And since we've already dabbled in secret gardening, sound baths, and a bit of mail magic, let's crank up the curiosity even more. Ever heard of urban foraging? No. I'm not suggesting you go rummaging through dumpsters, though some people swear by freeganism, but let's save that for the truly daring. Urban foraging is about finding edible plants, herbs, and fruits right in your neighborhood or city parks. Wild mint, mulberries, gooseberries, or even tender little greens growing by the roadside. Of course, you'll need a good guidebook or app so you don't accidentally nibble something that fights back. But imagine the thrill of gathering your own wild ingredients and tossing them into a salad or steeping them in tea. It connects you to nature in a way supermarket shopping never will. And there's something undeniably satisfying about turning a humble patch of clover into your personal treasure hunt. Now, if foraging isn't your speed, how about starting your own tiny podcast? Stay with me. You don't need fancy equipment or tech wizardry. Just your phone, a quiet corner, and something to say. Maybe it's funny memories from your younger days, life advice for the grandkids, weird facts you love, or even bedtime stories for grown-ups who struggle to sleep. You'd be surprised how many people out there would love to hear a warm, familiar voice sharing stories and simple wisdom. No need to chase fame. Do it for yourself and anyone else who happens to tune in. It's a hobby that lets you leave a little digital footprint in the world, proof that you had stories worth telling. And before we wrap this up, let's not forget the quirky but oh-so-fun world of dollhouse miniatures. Yes, doll houses. No, not just for kids. There's a whole underground community of folks crafting tiny libraries, bakeries, even haunted mansions no bigger than a shoebox. It's oddly therapeutic, painting a miniature bookshelf, making tiny cups of tea, or setting up a little living room with furniture you made yourself. You don't need steady hands or perfect eyesight. It's about patience and imagination, and seeing a tiny world you created come to life, incredibly satisfying. Bonus points if you give your tiny inhabitants dramatic, scandalous backstories. After all, why should soap operas have all the fun? So here's the truth most people won't tell you. Aging isn't about slowing down. It's about getting weirder, wiser, and more wonderfully unapologetic about the things that make you happy. There's no rule that says you have to spend your 60s, 70s, or 80s doing the same old hobbies you've always done. In fact, the best time to pick up something totally unexpected is right now, because whether you're planting secret flowers, solving pretend crimes in your living room, recording bedtime stories for strangers, or crafting tiny haunted mansions, you're keeping your heart young, your mind sharp, and your spirit playful. And that, my friend, is the secret sauce to a life well lived. It isn't measured by how many times you followed the rules, but by how many times you laughed at yourself, tried something new, and said, well, that was odd, let's do it again. So if any of these wonderfully weird hobbies sparked a little curiosity in you today, I say grab it and run. Or shuffle enthusiastically if running's not your thing. And if you've got a quirky hobby of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Who knows? It might just inspire someone else to embrace their inner oddball. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more heartwarming, offbeat ideas like this. And until next time, stay weird, stay wonderful, and keep surprising yourself. Life's still full of firsts, no matter what the calendar says. Don't forget to subscribe this channel to keep the circle growing.